Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charles. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we have another interesting episode for you guys. But before we get into it, make sure you go ahead and hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get to 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We'd really appreciate it if you helped us hit our target. So before you go too far, make sure you go ahead and do that. Anyway, let me get into this topic here because I got a lot of stuff I want to say today. So going into this season, the hype machine was in full effect this season, right? It was in full effect. And I think the majority of people had the Lakers and the Brooklyn Nets in the NBA Finals, right? Going into the season, Vegas picked them. Everything was pointing that way, especially when the Lakers were making their offseason acquisitions, when they were picking up players like Trevor Ariza. I think they picked up Dwight Howard, DeAndre Jordan, Carmelo Anthony. They got Rajon Rondo. And then, of course, when they picked up Russell Westbrook, everyone had this team in the NBA Finals, or at the very least in the Western Conference Finals. Now, to be fair, Stephen A. Smith, I believe, had the Golden State Warriors going to the Western Conference Finals. I think he was one of the few people that said that in the media, in big media at least. And I always felt that the Golden State Warriors were going to be very good this season. I had that feeling, and I'm absolutely right about that because they are having a hell of a season. They just beat the Phoenix Suns, who I think who had the #1 record in the Western Conference. And now, if I'm not mistaken, I think the Golden State Warriors have captured the top spot again. But I was one of the few people that had some trepidations about this team. I wasn't very confident in their roster, and I had some serious concerns because I just didn't feel that this team fit very well together. Now, initially in this season, Kendrick Perkins was very high on the Lakers, like everybody else, right? And to this day, I wonder if any of these guys did a critical analysis of this team before they started making their picks, their early season picks. I really wonder that. Were they just going off of hype? Were they just going off of names, the star power? Were they really actually sitting down and really scrutinizing these rosters? Because I'm just not sure, what these guys were thinking when they were out there making their predictions. But now, all of a sudden, Kendrick Perkins is changing his tune. Right? He's decided that now all of a sudden he is ready to just pretty much jump ship from the from the Lakers. And some people ask the question, why was he doing it in the first place? Some people say maybe he was being compelled to constantly give this team praise because he works at ESPN, whatever the reason is. But now he seems to be now he seems to be changing his tune. After 34 games played, it seems as if Kendrick Perkins has finally seen enough. He's like, listen, I've had my fill. And now he's becoming more and more vocal about this team. And LeBron James, in a recent interview, I think in the practice interview or whatever it was, he was basically giving his reason as to why he feels his team is underperforming this season. And he said, well, we haven't been healthy this season, and, guys are in and out of the lineup. We don't even know what lineup we're using and all these different. And I think Kendrick Perkins heard that, and he finally said to himself, listen, enough is enough. So Kendrick Perkins, I believe it was yesterday, basically made his feelings known. I think it was on Inside the NBA I think it was on ESPN First Take, where he basically just said, listen, enough is enough. So before we go too far, if any of you guys missed that soundbite or missed him talking about that, we want to play that clip here and we're going to come back and react to it. So before we go too far, take a listen to some of the comments that Kendrick Perkins had to make.
Is it time to break up the big three in LA?
Yes, it is, Molly. Will it happen? Probably not. Anthony Davis is not going anywhere. He has a no-trade clause. We know LeBron James is not going anywhere. The person that they probably could move or should move is Russell Westbrook. I don't know if it's going to happen because of his contract. But here's the thing about the Lakers, right? They're full of excuses, Well, 1 minute is Frank Vogel. Frank Vogel been out. Fizdale been coaching. Now they're still losing. And here's the thing. LeBron, you my dog. I've been knowing you since the 7th grade. But that interview, that ain't it. That ain't it. For the simple fact that the whole league has been battling this whole situation for us, COVID protocols, injuries, or whatever the case may be. When I watch an Atlanta Hawk team off a back-to-back, fresh off a loss against the Magic, go into Philly without their superstar and get a big-time win, I said, you know what? Anybody could do it. So when you get beat by 28 by the Spurs, that's a problem. That don't have nothing to do with chemistry. Now, what LeBron James should have said was, hey, man, we got to do a better job of getting back after a made basket because teams are scoring on us. Russell Westbrook got to do a better job of not leaving his feet when he trying to pass the ball because he keep getting turnovers. Or how about Carmelo Anthony? Hey, man, they're picking on you and picking rolls every time you're down on the floor. They're calling you up and they're going at you defensively. You got to be better. Hey, DeAndre Jordan, when are you going to do the defensive coverage right? When you're in drop, quit letting the guy get behind you for live dunks. That's the LeBron James that I want to hear in the interview talk and preach and call out his teammates and hold them accountable instead of saying things about chemistry issues when the entire NBA is going through it.
Now, my question is this. What took you so long? Like, seriously, what took you so long? I guess he was following the train of thought, which I still think to this day is probably one of the dumbest lines of thinking in sports all season long, at least in this season. He was probably thinking to himself, oh, it's still early. Y'all remember that? It's early. You're really going to make an assumption about this team? It's only been 10 games. It's only been 20 games. It's only been 25 games. Are we really going to sit down here and make a conclusion about this team? It's still early. Meanwhile, other teams were playing games. Other teams were having, good records. So we're just going to completely overlook all of that. So those teams, even though they have very good records like the Golden State Warriors or the Phoenix Suns or the Chicago Bulls, they're not really good. You know why they're not really good? Because it's still early. That's why. So it doesn't really, this was one of the dumbest things that people were saying all season long. And people actually thought that they were out there saying something profound. Listen. What took you so long? How come you didn't come to this conclusion after the first 20 games of this season when you saw they had a 10-10 record, when they had the easiest schedule to start the season off with? What made it all of a sudden that now after 34 games being played, all of a sudden now you're saying, oh, listen, I've seen enough. And listen, first of all, the signs have been there. Russell Westbrook was not a good fit. He is a turnover machine. He makes turnovers. And you're sitting there scratching your head and you're wondering to yourself, like, what is this guy truly thinking? And you look at his expressions afterward, it's like, is he processing what just happened, or is he trying to just, quickly forget it? You had Russell Westbrook. Then, of course, you had Anthony Davis, who's been a total disappointment this season. Even when he was healthy, he wasn't a difference maker. Some people were, he's not there. He wasn't even a difference maker when he was there, right? Then you had some people saying, oh, no, it's LeBron James. Wait till LeBron gets back. LeBron has been there and it's still been losing. So to me, I think I agree with him when he says it's time to stop making these silly excuses of, this guy's not here, we're not right, this guy's not here. Everyone is going through that same. You cannot use an excuse that every single person can use, because if every other team in the NBA can use that excuse, then it's not an excuse. It's just par for the course. Everyone is going through it. So for me, I'm happy that he said what he said, but in my personal opinion, I think it took too damn long. I don't know what he was holding out hope for. Really, I don't know what he was holding out hope for. To me, I think this was something that was quite obvious. It was quite obvious, and you had some people say, no, I'm not ready to rule out this Lakers team yet. I'm not willing to rule them out because they got LeBron. It's like, what do y'all talk? Y'all talk about LeBron like as if y'all are waiting for Michael Jordan or Tom Brady. What are y'all talking about? You were waiting for LeBron James. I'm not going to bet against LeBron. What are you talking about? The guy's lost more than he's won, and you're sitting here talking like as if you're waiting for Tom Brady or Michael Jordan. What are you guys talking about? Where are you getting all of this confidence from? You're not waiting for Tim Duncan, who has 5 NBA championships. You're not waiting for Kobe Bryant, who has 5 NBA championships. You're not waiting for Michael Jordan, who has 6 NBA championships. You're talking about waiting for LeBron, who has 4 championships. Stephen Curry's only behind him with 3. What are you talking about? You're waiting for him. Waiting for what? What is this thing that you were waiting to see happen? Seriously, people are like, no, I'm not. Like, the majority of the time he's lost in his career. And you're talking about, I'm waiting for LeBron James to come back and save the. Why? Based on what? So I never understood that. To me, it just seemed as if people were either dancing around, just beating around the bush, or maybe this is secretly some of these people's favorite player, and they just don't want to call it like they see it. Talking about, I'm waiting for him to come back. I don't want to bet against a LeBron James. What are y'all talking about? How many LeBron James teams have we seen? About 10, and they've lost. Y'all are acting like as if y'all waiting for Michael Jordan. This is what I'm talking about, this delusion, this self-delusion that a lot of people are going through. Y'all act like as if y'all are waiting for Jordan or Tom Brady. Those are the guys you don't bet against. You know why? Because they have the record to prove it. But to me, I just didn't understand it. And now it seems like it's finally come to a sense. Excuse me, come to the senses, and it's about damn time. The rest of you guys talking at other, y'all are just delusional. Nobody's taking you guys seriously. I don't need to listen to your arguments. I can just look at the stats and the data. I don't need to listen to what you guys are saying. We have enough evidence in front of us to understand what the hell is really going on. So what I want to know from you guys, what do you think about Kendrick Perkins' comments, and what do you think about my comments? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro. Wishing you guys an amazing day and catch you guys on the next episode.